I am back with a brand new DC update. Are you guys ready for today's information? I have seen a quote going around online that could change everything. And we're going to take a look because, yes, it could possibly be true. And I'm going to talk about how and why and what kind of evidence backs up this type of a claim. Now, if you are new to my channel, please take the time to subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you will be notified as I have new videos go up. I'm the kind of guy who comes in and loves to talk about DC and will not bullcrap you. I'm going to give you the information and tell you exactly the way it is without sugarcoating it, and my viewers know that. And so, yes, there is a possibility that the SnyderVerse could be restored amongst some other things, and we're going to talk about how that could possibly happen. But first, let's take a look at a couple of the photos that I've grabbed since I was here yesterday. First off, we have Zachary Levi making the rounds on talking about whether or not he will return as Shazam in the DC Universe. So, this particular story talks about how he has no idea on whether he's going to return or not. And that's because he said the last film was not well received. You think? And so he doesn't know anything. He hasn't been contacted. He doesn't know if his character is going to return or not. And considering he was supposed to be in the same universe as Black Adam, I'm assuming that everything prior to Blue Beetle is going to be completely scrapped. But we'll find out when this new gun universe moves forward. Well, who knows when, because the strike is going on with no end in sight. Now, I thought this was pretty funny. Cillian Murphy says losing Batman role in Christopher Nolan's trilogy was for the best. He said, I never considered myself as the right physical specimen for Batman. To me, it was always going to be Christian Bale. Honestly, I don't see either of those guys as the Batman physique. Yes, definitely Christian Bale was the better of the two, but honestly, he probably didn't look like Batman prior to getting cast as Batman to begin with. And I had no idea that Cillian Murphy had even applied for the role of Batman, but he did get Scarecrow, as we all know. So this goes back to what I just mentioned a minute ago. There is no end in strike. Warner Brothers is still on fire. Warner Brothers is still bleeding money with no end in sight. And every day that this strike goes on is bad for everybody in Hollywood, especially the studios. But it says a strike by Sag Aftra is still underway, and AMPTP have seemingly refused to return to the table. Union reveals that studios have declined to return to the negotiating table. So this is over AI rights, streaming rights, and some other things that I have covered on my channel. And this is hurting all of the studios. But the studio execs have money, whereas actors and those writers and everyone working in Hollywood don't. And if they're not doing well with their money or investing properly, they can't work right now. And the studios have let it be well known that they are willing to let this strike go the distance until these actors start losing their livelihoods and their homes, which is disgusting. It goes to show you how these studios operate, and that does include Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, I laughed when I saw this because it says DC Studios boss James Gunn has confirmed that his Superman Legacy cast will appear across the DCU in other projects. You think? I think it's been well known that he stated in his address when he revealed, the first part of Phase 1 that everything is going to be intertwined. It's going to be interesting to see how that happens moving forward and how they're going to make that switch, but he did say everything is going to be intertwined and that these characters will be showing up across the board. And you would hope so if they're going to do a shared universe. Now, for you guys who did not see the short that I posted on YouTube just a little while ago, I'm going to show you a quick video here that I took of this big Batman figure that I have. This, out of all the figures that have been released with Ben Affleck, I think this one looks the most like him. And I love having this displayed in my theater room. And notice on my shelf in the back, this is my theater room. That's a screen in the background. and I have a pillar on the side. But notice when I swing around with the camera, you're going to see some other Batman, the animated series, and some other things on the wall. They'll be blurred, but this still looks pretty cool. All right, so that actually looks like Ben Affleck, which this figure is just a beast. But I've got Arrow over here. That's what all these are. And you got Batman the Animated Series. I have both the animated versions. And right behind his neck here, you can't see it, but I have the Blu-ray version of the Batman Animated Series box set. So here's the golden nugget of the day. It says Nolan is currently the creative advisor for Universal Pictures, which is true, and is already making a plan for when he buys Warner Brothers, because Donna Langley is interested in rescuing the DC, MonsterVerse, and especially the Potterverse franchises that are essential for the future of his parks. And that plan includes the SnyderVerse, which he created and produced with his friend Zach. So we have to talk about this. So the one thing I don't like about showing you guys those types of photos is that this is not confirmed, okay? Anybody can be saying this, which is true. There is no source on that. But here's why I believe this could be a very real possibility. I'm going to back it up with some things that have happened. So we do know for a fact that Christopher Nolan did meet with Warner Brothers last month, and they offered him a 7-figure deal as a bonus to move back to Warner Brothers to start making movies with them and be one of the creative heads. They didn't say to what degree or for what, but as far as we know it, we haven't heard anything after that. And where there's smoke, there's fire, and I've talked about this several times. Like last year at the Comic-Con, everyone expected Henry Cavill to show up, and he didn't, and there were rumors that he was going to be there and that he had COVID and some other stuff. But in reality, what he was doing at that time is he was taking a break from The Witcher, and he was filming scenes for Black Adam and The Flash, which we never got to see. And so they were going to tie a lot of that stuff together. That's when Man of Steel 2 was planned and all these things were happening, which got everybody excited. Where there's usually smoke, there's fire to some degree. So while he wasn't at the Comic-Con and there were rumors that he was going to be there, he was doing something for DC at the time. I think this could be another one of those situations where he did actually probably meet with Warner Brothers and they might have discussed a deal here in the future because like I said a little while ago and I've been saying in my last 3 to 4 videos, Warner Brothers is on fire. They are bleeding money. They're not going to get out of this. I don't know how they're going to get investors to even invest in the whole gunverse. I don't know how that's going to happen. If I was an investor, I could tell you I would not be investing in Warner Brothers right now. I would be getting as far away as I possibly could. It's toxic for Warner Brothers. It's toxic for the brand. It's not good for Zaslav. It's not good for the general audience. It's not good for anybody what is happening currently. There's a division among the fan base, and I think the best way to fix this is to have someone like Christopher Nolan take over at Universal. I think there's always been those rumors that the plan is to sell to Universal in a year or so, which could very well be what is going to happen because I don't see them financially being able to get out of $3 to $4 billion worth of debt. I just don't see it happening, and it's definitely not going to happen through the movie franchises. And so you've got Christopher Nolan, and for a lot of people who don't know, he was the one who helped write and produce Man of Steel. He was a big part of that. It was him and some other individuals that all worked together. It wasn't Zack Snyder who wrote Man of Steel. It was these individuals, and they're the ones who produced it and brought it to the big screen. And so there is a very real possibility. I could tell you that Harry Potter is also something that they want to look at reviving and doing it the right way. They do need to get that last film or 2 out for the Fantastic Beasts franchise. I don't think they can just leave it hanging like they did. That does need to be completed, and then they need to have a plan for what they want to do with the Harry Potter franchise, and I think showing them as adults would be a smart move on their part to get people back in theaters. I did enjoy the Harry Potter movies. First 2 were very fun, very, Chris Columbus-like for kids, harken back to some of the 80s films, and then they gradually got more serious as time went on. And I really like that style. And so I would be interested in seeing these characters as adults and what they could come up with. And also to keep the original writer, keep her as part of it. Christopher Nolan knows what he's doing. His Oppenheimer is doing incredible at the theater for being a 3-hour rated R film. It's making all kinds of money. It's the best film I've seen this year. My review is up. I'll leave a link to that review in the description for this video. And so things are definitely happening behind the scenes. We don't get to see what is happening. And it would make sense for him to want to get things back over there, and that is a way where everything could be restored and we could get a continuation of the SnyderVerse. So there's a very real possibility that that could happen, because I do not see things getting better with Warner Brothers Discovery. I just see nothing but disaster moving forward, and I don't have any faith that Superman Legacy is ever even going to get made, especially with every day that this strike goes on. We will see shortly, though. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.